So
There's Emil. Hey, Emil.
you're chairing today, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Hi guys, this is John. I don't have internet today, so I'm dialing into my phone.
okay. All right, let me okay. All right, folks. I'll call the meeting to order. This is our monthly meeting of the OCP Hardware Management Group. We have the agenda up, and Emil, I thought we had one other item. Was it, or was it this? Was it the component resilience? Thought we had another presentation today.
I thought that was the one.
Was that the one? Okay. All right, and so then we've got we'll have any updates from the sub-project leads. Is anyone have anything else for today's agenda?
Maybe a quick recap on IEEE RAS in Data Center Summit. George made a keynote, and some of us presented the work that is being done. It was very well accepted. OCP, all the OCP initiatives, OCP dominated kind of the first half of the first day at the summit. It's very good.
I'm sorry, it was an IEEE?
IEEE RAS in Data Center Summit. This is the first one that was organized in Santa Clara, Marriott, and was well attended by industry and accommodations. We had representatives from, all the hardware fault management and server component resilience. We had 4 sessions. I can come to it. give me. I can tell you more about. Oh, you want me to go now?
Yeah, okay. All right. Anything else? All right. Hearing none, we will move to the agenda. John.
Oh, there was a quick opening that went out this morning that the top-level project leads are going into elections this year. And I think the ballot, I forget, they had a schedule on it, but they'll be taking nominations for the top-level project leads.
Yeah, that note just went out. So I was just opening that up to see. All right. Okay. John, anything from the steering committee?
No, it's a lot focused on the global summit. They've launched the first meeting of the Open AI Systems steering committee. That's based on the SA initiatives. The first meeting was on the 12th last week, and one of the decisions was to open up attendance. So the committee met and then decided, we should open up the entire meeting. So I don't know if the first meeting was recorded or not, but all future meetings will be posted.
Oh, very good. All right. If nothing else, John.
No.
Okay, so let's get into the component resilience spec and contribution. Who was remember who was here to talk about that? Do we not have anyone here? The contribution status on that?
Who made the request?
I thought that,
It was Amber Huffman.
yeah.
Yep.
And yeah,
See, I'm not on the call.
she asked for the time.
All right. Well, we'll and maybe she'll join here in a bit. We'll push ahead and come back to it. Otherwise, we'll pick it up next time. Was there a look to see if there was a spec that we could reference. I don't think I can find it quickly. Okay, let's move on. So you guess you back to the data center summit.
All right, so yeah, this was a 1.5-day summit that took place last week. First day was dedicated to keynotes and invited speaker sessions. So they were themed around quality or cellular corruption, silicon quality, reliability, availability, and in-fit serviceability. Keynotes were delivered by Microsoft, Intel, AMD, and OCP. And there was a lot of OCP work that was showcased by George and myself, Rama, Drew, and the cellular data corruption team, of course. That is server component resilience team. Yeah, I think I saw a lot of interest from community to join our projects and went really well. One minor feedback: one of the George's slide was given by one of the member companies. Some other companies were so no one saw that slide before. It was about how many projects are they are focused on RAS and who is doing what kind of thing. And it was probably because it was made for a different purpose. So some other member companies were texting me like, this is missing out, or this is not exactly how it is. So maybe for future, for keynotes like that, maybe they should consult the, Jeff and Hamel and John, so we can have it all right. So all the member companies are happy.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I think it's a really good event.
Okay. Was there a
Yogesh, where was this? Sorry. This was virtual or face-to-face?
No, this was in person, Hemel. It was in Santa Clara Marriott. And this was the first time IEEE organized it. I was on the program committee, and we were really kind of limited in space, and also registrations were difficult to get in. Only one publisher per paper, and the speakers mostly, and there are few extras, maybe like 50 extra people who were allowed in. This was co-hosted with IEEE Computer Society, I think board meeting or something. And I think OCP and Google co-hosted reception there too.
Okay. See, is IEEE, I know we don't have this kind of alliance, and so is IEEE interested in this project or our sub projects and working with us? Is that?
Yes, so IEEE's chairperson Jyotika, she has been attending hardware fault management meetings very regularly. She is with Synopsys. She's a director of RAS there, and she has been attending very regularly. And we are also I'm also starting some other discussions about what else at the silicon level maybe we need to start looking at in terms of standardization at OCP. So there are, yes. So I saw that the folks are working, and then some of them are very active in server component resiliency work group. That's Professor Dimitrios Gidopoulos from University of Greece. So yeah, there are folks who are active in OCP.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, I put the link up here for the program website, and it looks like and there's links there for abstracts, at least.
Yeah, just one small Jeff. In keynotes, there's one by AMD as well. And the meeting was the first day was recorded also, so hopefully IEEE
Oh, okay.
is on the website.
All right. Okay. All right. Moving on. Speaking of RAS APIs, so we'll start with the update there.
Yeah, so we continue to work on our spec. I think I reported before we were split in the spec, leaving more flexibility in the lower layers to be handled by other forums and having the correct hooks so we can still standardize and have the data centers software be protected. So we continue to work on that. I think as we're splitting the spec, and the part that's remaining at OCP, which is the part that protects the data center software from any changes or hardware vendor differences, we continue to debate, and yeah, we're making good progress there. You can say connection. It's complicated. It's different abstraction layers. So let's say we're separating the lower level protocol to be handled in DMPF and similar, and the rest of the RAS specification and management software is remaining in the OCP spec. And RAS specifics or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
John, profiles?
Oh, yeah. I think I had to cancel the last meeting. Was too overwhelmed. But this week I think we've seen a lot of changes in the profiles, and we should be lining up a couple of ones the next meeting. One thing I will note is that the GPU management documents at 0.9 have been published, and so they're now available in the contribution database. Look on the GPU, there is a slight problem in that they signify the version 0.5s there and the 0.9s are there. and it's not really clear which ones are which ones are the 0.9 ones. So I'm having that corrected today. So that's clear, and see if we can do a this document replaces this other document, so we don't have both of them appearing at the same time. Part of that contribution is actually a profile. It is the GPU profile, which they contributed as a document, so it's up in the database. So I'm going to pull it off the database. It'll still be there, but I will pull a copy off the database and put it in the profile repository, so that we can go look at it and file issues against the actual profiles themselves and use the GitHub process that we use for the remaining profiles. I've gotten a tentative nod that they will be writing a usage guide for that profile, so they will follow the normal profile process.
Okay.
And that's it.
So that covers the profile. Is there going to be a review of their spec they posted, or is everything profile driven?
The specs are still at 0.9, so they have not signed the final spec agreement on that. So the way OCP normally works is that a collection of companies come together, they sign a CLA, which is a contributors license. They allow themselves to work together and they protect each other from each other's IP. And when they finish the document and it comes out at 1.0, they sign an FSA, which is a final spec agreement, which means all the IP that they place in there, they freely give to OCP. And then companies that look at the contribution, that's the first thing they ask is is there an FSA attached to this? If it's not, I'm not going to touch it. So at this point, they have not signed an FSA for it. Because it's 0.9, they are releasing what I call contributor drafts. And so when they release at 1.0, which they intend to do shortly, then the community at large outside the CLA group can contribute to that specification. Right now, companies are allowed to provide feedback on these specifications. They will go directly to the CLA group, but the deliberations of that CLA group are not visible.
How do I guess in its current state, me as someone not part of that group, I can still provide feedback though, correct?
Yes, you find one of the 6 signatures to that spec, and you can contact them. And if you need specific names, I can give you those specific names.
Yes, please send them to me offline.
Okay.
Thank you.
And John, did you have something on I think you went through the profile inheritance slide. Did you need to talk about that some more, or?
No, that was basically
That's fine.
yeah. So I can go through it again, but basically we've gone to a split of the profiles, one for platform profiles, one for component profiles. And this is how we currently see the inheritance. And I was actually going to use this as my template for talking about the state of profiles. So if you want to provide input, because I know so we're doing a lot of work in Redfish service profile, which is a new profile, which will be kind of the base set of services that all Redfish interfaces need to have. And that then, because some of that is inside the baseline right now, so we're going when the Redfish service profile is ready, then we'll probably have the platform baseline reference the Redfish service profile, as opposed to carrying all these requirements around. We can start unifying and synchronizing all the requirements. And then the GPU profile, hopefully, will be the first profile off the component baseline. So on the far left, there's a component baseline. I have put the SmartNIC as an example. So now we have an actual profile which will fit in there. It will be the GPU profile. And then I know a lot of work has been done in the liquid cooling baseline. And there's actually there's a sustainability profile, which I should put in here. So in the future, if my Zoom was actually running up on time, I would have brought this up and just talked through
Sorry,
it. That's okay.
I got you. And yeah, on the so yeah, I worked on the sustainability profile, and that's with in conjunction with obviously the sustainability folks. So so that one is certainly ready for review. There's questions with the sustainability folks on kind of, you know, how high of a bar do we want to place on that profile, because there are things that they are that the sustainability folks want or need, and the question is, do we, you know, do they want to make that profile the, you know, you have to get everything, or is this do we would do this as a crawl, walk, run? I'm kind of in the middle on that, I think. So because some of the things they're asking for are things that are not generally have not been exposed to either at hardware or at calculated values. So yeah, I don't think we want to wait for a product cycle personally to have folks, you know, getting some amount of consistent data, you know, availability. So I'm kind of trying to pull them back to maybe let's do a version 1, and we can do a version 2 that has the record, you know, that has recommendations for that will become requirements in version 2.
So the most recent check-in I saw had something about the calculations and values. Is that in this? Is that in the profile now?
It's I think I've got everything in there. Oh yeah, yeah, because yeah, that was one of the questions, and I think we need to talk to we need to get feedback from hardware and from product folks, because one of the pieces that they need is the power consumption of the cooling subsystem, you know, basically fan power. And so the question is, well, there's no measurements for those today, at least in the sense of a direct measurement of you know, the fan power, generally speaking. But there was suggestions that, you know, like, well, you can calculate fan power using a curve with the fan speed, or it's really with the PWM values. You know, that the system could calculate some approximate value for that, and that was their suggestion. And I would like to hear feedback on that, because I don't know if that's going to be numbers that folks would actually you know, if that's data that folks want to produce.
Okay, but that speaks to the focus of this profile, is exactly what metrics sustainability would like to extract from a system so they can compute whatever they need to compute in sustainability.
Correct. Yeah. When you look at the use case document that's in there, that it's really on 3 pieces. It's on you know, power and energy reporting, and then the more so you know, the most important thing is to get that consumption at the product level, and then the nice to haves or the future things are to be able to calculate some of the new efficiency metrics. You need to see the various subsystems, and so having that consumption being reported, you know, being able to break that down by specific subsystems is important. So that's the first and most important category, at least the ones that, because we're talking about, it's really about the, you know, the carbon emission, you know, the carbon footprint. So it's the use phase, which is for us is for all IT gear, it's just electricity. You know, so that's the big one. And then the other part of that is the embodied carbon. And so with that, you need to be able to, and that one's easy for us, because it's you got to be able to produce, you know, inventory and, you know, and SKU part numbers and model makes product identification, because that's how you're going to go do lookups for embodied carbon from databases that we're not expecting anyone to have that reported from the product. That's a long ways off and probably not worth the effort to put inside the firmware. And then lastly is a desire for accurate location data for where in the world is the device, and that'll be used for doing the carbon calculation, for the energy that's being consumed, if that's being taking the coefficients of location about what the carbon footprint of the electricity is. So that's really the three areas. Then there are half a dozen properties underneath each of those.
Great, good summary. So as a last question, are you submitting an abstract for OCP Summit, and will it go in the hardware management or under sustainability track?
That's a good question, John.
Please do so.
Yeah, I probably should. I think it'll go under sustainability.
Good, good. You'll get the right people.
Yeah. We reviewed the profile with the sustainability group as a whole last week, and they started diving a little deeper into the into the values and whatnot about wanting to set setting minimums, like oh, we want sensors with this accuracy, and they need to be updated this frequently. I'm like, okay, well, we can do that. Don't really know. That's really not our intent of the profile, to give product requirements like that. But okay, it's on the hairy edge of I think what we'd want to put in a profile.
So the usage guide is a good form to get the subject matter experts involved.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a usage guide up there, and I continue to add things to it. I'll be putting at least a framework in the start of the usage guide for the baseline profile. That'll be up in the next hopefully today, maybe tomorrow. But it'll have a lot of stubs. But I'm hoping not to fill that one out, John, to a large to the nth degree, because it becomes effectively just it becomes like a Redfish service user guide. So I don't want to duplicate all that. And
just enough so a layman can understand what that profile is supposed to
exactly. Yeah, that one I don't think we're going to put a lot of examples. It's really going to be more just a paragraph about particular topics of it's account management, it's password changing, it's certificates and firmware and eventing, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so the usage guide as a structure is still fairly new, so do with it what you will.
Yeah, I'm focusing on that with the expectation to have it generate the most of the documentation for the reference section. So
Okay,
I'll get
great.
that up. And Mike and I have been working offline on that profile, so I think we're getting pretty close to be able to want to walk through that one.
Okay, great. We just drove this into a profile work stream. So okay, let's get back to your summary.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Is Chad here? Someone else here from SMC?
So I can talk to SMC. So I've been attending. We've been trying to understand the implications of the GPU profile and its implications to SMC. So I've updated a document. That one decision we've made is to change satellite to auxiliary, because as we mentioned before, satellite was becoming much too confused with GPSs. So so we've updated that document. It's still in draft, and I fixed some of the normative text.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Panos, anyone from cloud service?
think one thing I was gonna say with this new sub-projects and workstream, John, should you or should we send out an email, Jeff, to remind at least one co-lead to join? Or if there's single project lead to join this monthly call?
I would say yes, you should.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff, do you want to send that email or do you want me to?
If you want to, do you want to do that while I'm typing here, or?
Sure, I think today they are not gonna join, but. sure.
No, I know, but yeah. All right, let's see. Well, we've heard some of the hardware fault, but let's, Yogesh, rest of the.
Yeah, so on the OCP front, thank you all for dropping incubation from the hardware fault management. We have let our members know. Now, as far as work stream is concerned, we are working, we've almost finished work on discussing what are the PCIe pain points, and respective PCIe companies are working on driving those through PCIe process. In-band fault management addendum to the fault management requirements is well underway. Lots of edits are taking place, trying to contribute it before the global summit. There was our hardware fault management requirements are being referred, the taxonomy that we come up with and the classification, all that is being referred by various work groups, including, I think, GPU, RAS API, FMFM. I was discussing with some of the members at the IEEE Summit that we probably need to take another closer look at it and make sure it's, because this wasn't the first version, we may have some room for improvement. So that's one of the actions items we are going to take. Now, there was an ask, or rather query, I guess, by some of the member companies, namely Microsoft, Meta, Google, about how the different substreams are, organized, which at the time I didn't think much of it because, it's pretty open. Anyone can, we've been collaborating with the cloud service model ever since it was under FDI. But in some way, it may make sense to have all the RAS related or fault management related projects kind of aligned, or I don't know if there's a term called under under hardware fault management. So that would be your GPU and accelerator RAS API. FMFM is already kind of under it, and there is talk about some other initiatives also. So just a quick open question on that one.
So Yogesh, are you going to be making a recommendation on what the organization should be? Because we have a charter diagram. I like to make sure that charter diagram gets updated, because that's would be one thing we present at OCP Summit, right? Which is kind of the overview and how the overall structure.
I can bring it, send it to you guys. Just wanted to understand what does it mean to align like that? Is it anything more than what are the implications of doing something like that?
There's not that many implications other than we're going to give Ken Kaifa a whole lot of work to do to reorganize the pages. But it's this is a kind of open source kind of organization. So we expect the community to self-organize. And if they, we partitioned it the way it was because that's how the work streams came in. But as the community decides there is more synergism in a different organization, then that community can come up to project leads and say, hey, we're tired of having 6 organizations and you're tired of chasing 6 project leads to come up and give you status, go make this organization and we make it easier for everybody. So I think we're just waiting for a proposal from you guys to say,
so I totally agree. So okay. Yeah, so So thanks, Sean. I think I agree with that. Logistically, that's one big benefit. But I think just the communication strategy wise and awareness wise, that's another benefit, right? If we avoid fragmentation of similar nature of work, which is hardware fault management RAS, under various different work groups, it just makes it convenient for people to see, okay, what else is happening right next to like this work stream, right? So.
Okay, so ball's in your court.
Got it. And that's all I have. We are still waiting for GPU. I had some discussions with the GPU RAS folks at IEEE RAS Summit also. It seems like they're running towards coming out of CLA. So looking forward to join that. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of GPU talk at the IEEE Summit. And I made a presentation about North Star for standardization. How do we go about doing that? Because there's a lot of talk about all of that, right? Heterogeneity, multiple vendors, seamless operation across various platforms, vendors, and all that. And there's lots of threats to that, right? How do we create a standard? So that was kind of my pitch, because the first half of the day was all about we need it, and I tried to pivot it, how we do it. And I think one of the things I talked to our friends in GPU workstream is also like, hey, when is it going to come to 1.0 and they welcome us? So looking forward to that. I think they said like 4 weeks or so, they should be able to finish it up. And
so yeah. That one is still, that stream is still under NDA kind of, right? That not open.
Yeah, it is right now. Yeah, it is right now. And, so one of the, Intel is not part of it. And I think because there are differences in approaches, how we do things, it's better that we kind of have alignment since beginning. And Michael, I talked to Bush and others at Microsoft, and they recognize that yes, Intel needs to join that, and they're saying we're trying to close it to bring it to 1.0 in like 4 weeks time or so, and then after it's 1.0, we'll open it for public, not come out of CLA. That's all from me.
And Yogesh, when you, as John was saying, that proposal of merging, are you gonna create some kind of slide or something that we can?
Yes, I'll send it to you. Give me a week or two, and I'll send it to you. I'm just catching up from my travel last week, so yeah.
Sure. All right, thanks.
Okay. All right, moving on to HMM. Just let me pull this up. Oh, it just never tells me what's gonna. I want to preview, just open it. Open.
All right, so we have a proposal in progress is to move the DCSEM work group to under the DCMHS work group sub-project, which is under the server project. The reason is this has been brought up many times in the last years, is there's growing synergy between the two work groups. So since DCSEM is at a turning point per se, we're wrapping up the 2.x specification and starting the 3.x specification. So we thought this is a good time to make this transition. So the proposal is still going through OCP and project leads. Once that's approved, we'll work on moving the work group over. Okay.
So one correction. It's just a wording. So it's a work stream, which is moving over because OCP doesn't have work groups.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, I know. The hardware management module project will still exist. It will have only one work stream, which is run BMC. It's a bit quiesce, but the structure will still be there, and the work stream under hardware management module for DCSCM will move across to DCMHS. This is actually a good thing. So ever since the first set of presentations that DCMHS put up, as far as, hey, let's modularize the baseboard, they've had two examples. It's been DCSCM and NIC 3.0. So it's always been part of DCMHS, and they just and we tried to keep arm's length to keep the sub-project going. So this is a natural thing as they discover that manageability is more and more important as you get to an actual modular baseboard.
So, John, one question on that. With Run BMC kind of in maintenance, should we keep the hardware module management work stream active, or should we just merge it back to hardware management project? Because work stream generally there's active work that, right, in parallel things are going on, right?
I would actually merge it back, but it becomes more complicated because it's a whole sub project. And moving work streams around is really easy.
Right.
Doing stuff with sub projects is a little more complicated.
Okay. So, but is there a way to indicate that this is quiesce now?
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. I thought I saw Han. Yeah, there's Han.
Yeah, so I'm on. So yes, so the first update is the sub-project leadership change. So Marcia has informed, so he will resign from August timeframe. So he will still lead the project and attend the monthly meeting for July meeting. So he will step down in August. Yeah. So basically we need a project lead to nominate another co-leader for this sub-project, or anyone can recommend it. Yeah. Okay. So for OpenRMC 1.2, so right now we are working on the composability. So John has introduced Redfish composability status, and the major discussion on this one is a scope of the composability from a rack perspective. So we have the scenario might have resources cross multiple rack. So the definition of rack from a composability perspective, it's a single rack or cross rack, especially when we have the fabric and the resources pooling coming into the picture. So the definition of scope gonna be complicated compared to legacy the rack management. So the preliminary decision is we might start from simplify one based on a single rack for 1.2. So we're gonna expand to multiple rack later on to well-defined from a composability perspective. So for DM, John, you want to talk about device manager part?
Yeah, or two parts. Let's take a step back. So the direction that the OpenRMC is taking is based on the Steering Committee 2024 initiative of composable disaggregated infrastructure. So I mentioned before that Open AI systems was one of the initiatives. There was actually 5 of them. This is the second one, and so as part of that, it was how do you compose a system out of the disaggregated parts across a data center? Redfish had a kind of a natural a service that we had it had constructed early on. So it was, as far as the interface was concerned, it was fairly straightforward. As far as what we were going to add, the question was how much we were going to add. So that was the discussion within Open BMC and Open RMC and Han summarized. As far as the device manager, Intel had taken a role of adding a Redfish interface on top of the device manager top repository, which was contributed earlier. It has been, we've discovered how difficult it is to get any open source out of Intel. There are many hoops you have to jump through, and I can tell you it's pretty solid code because security's been in there. Everybody's in there before they'll let Intel submit any code. It's been good in this. It's been pretty good structured code. The problem is it doesn't work the way open source software should. So after the latest merges, Intel will take a step back from this and allow the rest of the community, which hopefully can move much faster, actually improve the code and move forward with it. So you still contribute submit issues against device manager. I just don't think it'll be fixed until someone steps up and says, yeah, we actually use it and we're willing to contribute back to it. Okay, that's it.
Thanks, John. Yeah, that's pretty much update for OpenMC.
Great. All right, thanks, Han. I see Mick is on. Mick, are
Yep.
you?
Yeah. We cancelled DSIM, so I had to do something else. Yeah, so two main areas of focus that we've had for the most this year and late last year is mockups and interop profiles. So I'll have to continue the theme of the day, which is profiles. So we mentioned the CDU, so we've got the CDU mockup. I have to do a pull request on that mockup, Jeff, so we can get that into the next Redfish release. And I've done a review of the CDU mockup, and Mike's done most of the hard work on that, and the splitting of that into the liquid cooling baseline, and then on top of that the CDU, and there is a remaining effort to replace the baseline with the new Redfish.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the final piece of the puzzle in terms of getting the liquid cooling profile and the CDU profile out. And there's a lot of work in progress for other profiles for immersion and DLC, and plus we've done a lot of work on mockups for other aspects of liquid cooling that need to be submitted and go through the process to be added into the Redfish releases.
Very good. And Mick, were you the question was coming up a couple days ago was are you planning to, are you going to be able to attend the global summit?
I am planning to.
Oh, great.
I have a fly in the ointment in that my daughter's valedictorian dinner is apparently on the 14th of October, so I might not be able to get there for the 15th, but I definitely plan to get there for 16, 17.
Check the laws of physics.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Even with time zone, it doesn't work for the.
If you fly the other way, I think it does. But and I guess, Mick, the other thing I would mention on this group is and Mike, is that tackle box tool up?
Yep, it's there. I did send Mick an email about that.
No, I had a look at that. That was fantastic. Great work. So I'm going to tomorrow I'm going to let everyone know about that on the hardware management liquid cooling work stream. That's a great thing to point to and say, hey, look, you've even got a command line now. Go for it. So just to clarify, John, while I've got a couple of minutes, I still need to put an abstract in by Friday for the liquid cooling profiles that was requested in the email.
Correct.
Oh, awesome. So Mike, did you want to be on that as well, or do you want me to do
I
it
mean,
solo?
I need whatever I can do to help assure I can travel there. So being on a
All right.
presentation would help.
I'll put you as a co, and then if one of us can't make it, we have coverage.
Cool, thank
Yeah,
you.
liquid cooling is important, so they'll let Mike come.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Lots of active work going on. Great. All right, did I miss anything? All right, yeah, so and remind that the abstracts for Summit are due, that's this Friday, correct?
Yep.
So do encourage anyone has anything else to bring, especially any new work that hasn't been covered in any of these work streams. It's Summit's the time to get things out in front of a whole bunch of people. All right. Well, with that, is there anything else for discussion today? All right. Well, hearing none, we have reached the end of agenda. So thank you, everyone. We'll adjourn here, and y'all have a good rest of the week. And we will see you next month.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jeff. Bye.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks,
You know,
Jeff. Bye.